Over the past week, we've had multiple mass shootings, so we're back to that form of America. But we had in Atlanta, obviously, horrible shootings, seemingly predominantly targeting women of Asian descent. Then we had just a couple days ago the shooting in Boulder, and now yesterday we have a man that was toting 6 guns and wearing full body armor go into a Publix grocery store in Atlanta, arrested on charges of reckless conduct after employees there called the police. So when you hear that someone had 6 guns and body armor, you probably think, well, that probably looks pretty terrifying. Yes, it does. Actually, let's show you how terrifying it is. Here is the guns. Apparently, they're not entirely sure about exactly how many there were. Some are now saying it was something like 7, but that's a lot. I mean, effectively, the guy was cosplaying that scene in The Matrix where Neo is just littered with guns. This is one person wearing body armor and all of those guns. There was a witness who saw him in the bathroom there, Charles Russell, who said, I saw an AR-15 and I was like, this kind of startled me just again with events that recently happened in the grocery store up in Colorado. And eventually the police were called. They sent him for a psychiatric evaluation. And police haven't yet said whether the individual was licensed to carry arms, but understand that Georgia is an open carry state. And whether that actually in the end will allow you to carry that many guns in a particular private establishment. The idea is, the politicians who push that sort of stuff is, it is not inherently threatening to walk around with a bunch of guns, Wosny. That's just a natural part of being an American patriot. Why are you all freaking out about somebody wearing body armor and carrying enough guns to storm a police department?
Yeah, it's funny because on the one hand, if you're a black person just standing next to a sneaker store during what they consider to be looting, like that's enough to get billy clubbed, get maced, get choked out. Or if you happen to be selling loose cigarettes in Staten Island, right? Like you're dangerous, you're a threat. We have the right to choke you the hell out and freaking kill you. But if you're just a great law-abiding citizen in the city of Atlanta and you have 8, 9 guns on your person. No, you're just being a regular citizen. And I talked about this a little bit the last time I was on with Anna, but I will say, look, I think the genie's out of the bottle with the gun thing, right? I think we're at a place where essentially white people in this country have decided that this is the cost of doing business, right? We're going to have our guns, and children getting mowed down at their school in Sandy Hook, that's fine. Parkland, Florida, that's fine. That's part of doing business. That's just sort of the collateral damage of what the Second Amendment freedoms bring. So people have decided that that's the cost of doing business. Okay, I don't know or see a path to convincing them otherwise. Cool. Yeah. At least we could be doing a more holistic approach with our citizenry as far as, look, man, when people have proper health care, and I'm talking about both physical and mental health, when people have great employment prospects, when you have a good job, when you have a dope crib, when when your life is going pretty smoothly, you feel less inclined to do these crazy things, right? I think if we took a more holistic approach to ensuring those things for our citizens, I think we'd find that there were less people who wanted to do that kind of stuff because they had more to lose, like they had more to look forward to in life, like their quality of life had been so enriched by the conditions that we allowed for them as a country, right? I think if we were taking those kinds of approaches and having people that didn't feel as disconnected from society and sort of the social contract, right? That we're not gonna kill each other, that we're not gonna hurt each other, or else there's these horrible consequences. I think we would see less and less of this stuff happening. But on the one hand, we wanna flood the zone with as many freaking guns as possible. And on the other hand, we wanna leave people to their own devices and like, yo, whatever, go figure it out on your own. And I think these are the results that are being born of that, and it sucks, quite frankly, John.
It does. It does. Yeah, so they stopped this one. That's good. And when I say stop, I'm sort of implying that I believe that this person was there to shoot it up because that's totally what I believe. It's 100% speculation, but whatever. This is YouTube, Twitch. I can say whatever I want. who doesn't think that that's what he was going to do? Like, come on, man. That's why you bring all of those guns. Now, there are people, Republican politicians, that'll pretend that that's not why you would be wearing body armor and carrying a shotgun and a rifle and a bunch of pistols. But that is why. And we every time there's a mass shooting, we hear a lot of BS from the right, designed to stop us from trying to do anything about it. In this particular week, we heard some BS, like from Senator Kennedy, was we don't need gun control, we need idiot control. So Kennedy, what would you have done with this individual? Is this an idiot? I think it's pretty clear that, sure, I would use harsher words, but no, you should not be able to do this. You should not be able to go into a Starbucks with a long gun. There's no need to do that. So, but they don't actually believe that. They throw out things like idiot control because it distracts you, but there's nothing that actually would qualify under that definition that they would be willing to do something that would in any way infringe on people's ability to do things that are inherently designed to be threatening. Whether they intend to shoot up people or not, you walk around with a long gun in Target to scare people. That's why you do it. You like the idea of scaring people. Anyway, we've been talking about guns, Wosny, like a lot this week. I'm just sick of the whole thing because nothing's gonna be done.
Yeah, and I think another thing people need to understand, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but at the end of the day, if you commit a felony, when you get out of prison, you can't even get a job. The thing that basically separates you from financial ruin, you are not allowed to do. Support yourself, okay? You're not allowed to do it if you commit a felony, if you're convicted of that. Jobs are allowed to basically discriminate against you based upon that fact. Yet getting a gun is, I guess it's so freaking essential that no, you have to still be able to do that. Yeah. Forget supporting yourself and supporting your family and feeding yourself and keeping yourself as a productive member of society. Nah, shoot, weed could take you out of the running for that. Yeah, weed could take you out of the running for certain employment, but guns, there's literally nothing you can do that would disallow you from being able to purchase guns. And again, I would remind people, when the American government considers something to be a problem, we get the crime bill, we get the war on drugs, we get all of these draconian measures.
The Patriot Act.
The Patriot Act, exactly. We get all of these draconian, just these extreme measures to stamp out what we see to be problems. But with guns, it's like, yeah, what can we do?
What can you do? Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
That's unfortunate, but yes.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.